Oh, hello there. Nice of you to pop in once more. It's been a while, hasn't it? But we're back here on the desk, getting ready to turf out some new books. What will they be? Got 10 of the devils, all science fiction, but with a slight bias towards time travel this time. Isn't that wonderful? So, right, we've got our demonic candle. I'm going to call it that from now on. Perhaps I was calling it the satanic candle, but someone thought I was actually a Satanist and they didn't like it. Strange times we're living through. And we've also got the demonic mushrooms. Fuck it, they're satanic ones, but I don't believe in any of that stuff, and neither should you. We've got the bells right on cue. I told them to start playing now. Our tipple of choice today is a bit of Hobgoblin. It's a session IPA, 3.4%. A little bit low for my liking, but there we are. Beggars can't be choosers. I got this because it's fucking cheap. £1.25. But it's got a wonderful label there with said Hobgoblin having a little tipple there in a nice leafy glade. I wouldn't mind joining him. He'd probably lop off my fucking head. Yes. Oh, it's a nice cap as well. Let's have a look at the cap. It's got a goblin's head on there. Wonderful. I'll add it to my collection. Right, let's try it. Not bad, not bad. See, I don't normally drink IPAs, but there we are. I thought I'd give it a go because it was cheap. Anyway, right, let's turf them out. So, no particular order. Well, in order of size, really. I've got various formats here today. These are This is a standard paperback size here. So this is one of the E.E. Doc Smith books, of which there are many. I've started collecting them just because, well, you usually got a bit of Foss on the cover. This is definitely a Chris Foss painting here, and it's quite wonderful, I think. I think you'll agree. I'll put the usual scanned images on later. I recently got a Chris Foss hardback, actually. My brother got it for my birthday. I might show it later, but I don't know if it would fit on this camera setup. So I got this one. A little bit of sun damage on the spine. I got this from a local used... Well, it's not a bookshop as such. It's just bric-a-brac, really. And occasionally they'll have a bit of science fiction in there. So I've got a couple of these E. Doc Smith ones. I won't read the blurb just because it's part of a fucking great series. I don't know how many. It says there's 4 copies there, 4 in the series. I'm sure there's more than that. It's the Lensman series I'm thinking of which I've got a couple as well. The quality of the book itself is pretty good, but we're not going to find anything hidden within the pages because this particular shop takes pride in showing all of the things that they found within their books. There's a kind of a corkboard up on the wall, and there's loads of different things they found. Some really interesting stuff, including some banknotes probably, which they won't show you. No treasure maps though, but some very interesting pamphlets and things like that from the 80s. But there we are. Yeah, not bad condition. Whilst you have a look at the cover, I'll have a little sniff. I'm going to have to be careful because I haven't been very well lately, so let's take it easy. Okay, I usually like to start with a bit of wood, but unfortunately this is a digestive biscuit. Okay. Now, the second book I got from the same shop is this fella. So it's another one from the same series. This one's Getaway World. This isn't by Foss. I mean, you can see right from the get-go, this is not Foss's style. It's far too, well, it's slightly indigo, indie glow going on there. A bit too neon for my liking. Not a bad image, though. It's by Angus McKee. I think I've come across him before. But yeah, not bad condition. They were probably bequeathed or acquired by the shop from the same person. I mean, it's still mottled and whatnot. I forgot to look at the publication date on the previous one. This is 1977. The year that Star Wars came out, of course. But otherwise, yeah, wonderful condition. Let's have a look at the other one. Let's let's not get ahead of ourselves here. 1978. So this one's a bit older. But yeah, what do you think of this cover? Do you prefer it to the Foss, or are you a Fossman? Or Foss woman, or whatever, a Fosser? Well, a Fosser. I mean, it's more or less identical to the other one. Yeah, so we've got another biscuit. Let's call this one a bourbon. Down you go. Let's have a little swig. Lovely. Okay, the next one. I got this one for my birthday from Vanessa, my wife. We're married now, of course. So this is by Vincent King, a British science fiction writer. He only published 4 books in his lifetime, and I've got 2 of them, and I've already read them. This is the 3rd one I've got. The 4th one is an ultra rare book that I can't afford it. So we're having to make do with this one at the moment. This one's called Another End. It's got quite a nice image here of I guess a robot. It's hard to tell really. I think it's a robot. For the riders who rode the probes to the stars, there was all time, but no end. There was all time, but no end. Quite a nice image. I like the colours there. Red and yellow. The spine, it's quite nice. It's got this kind of pea green colour. Slightly sun damaged compared to the back, which is slightly more vibrant. But obviously my lovely camera isn't picking that up. Let's read this blurb though, because I don't know anything about this one. Okay, 700 times he had deliberately tried to die, and each time his probe had brought him back. And yet Adamson had actually died, dissolved, dissoluted thousands of times. And thousands of times the probe had helped him grope his way back to the eternal search, the search for life. Home planet was eons in the past. There would be nothing left there, yet the galaxies in the abyss yawned vast and empty, sterile. It was this that drove Adamson to despair. The probe felt Adamson's desperation as his own, yet it had one object beside the search for life, preservation of life, and the only life it had was the son of Adam in its care. So they lived on and on, without end. Now, that sounds a particularly bleak story, but based on the other 2 I've read, it seems to share an undercurrent of a depressing nature, dystopian. And that sounds intriguing there, I must say. Okay, the date on this one is in Roman numerals, and my knowledge of those is not very good. I'm going to punt for 1972. Probably wrong. This is actually remained in stock by the looks of it. That's a shame, isn't it? I don't know if Vincent King had much success as a writer. I know there's very little information about him on the internet, but if I were you, I mean, I'm going to review these at some point, or I'll do a special video about them. Candyman is particularly good. The other one I've got is Light a Last Candle. But yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this one. The print is very nice. Nice, easy to read for imbeciles like myself. Wonderful. Don't stop reading. Right, okay. Have a look at the cover, and I'll have a little sniff of this one. Oh, yes. Thank goodness. Oh, wonderful. Wood. Yes, it's wood. We've got wood. But also with a little bit of walnut. So I think it's probably walnut wood. Wood. Looking forward to reading that one, I must say. Okay, the next one. So some of these have been recommended to me by some of you, but I can't remember who recommended them. I've tried going through my old videos and I can't find it. But anyway, I know who recommended this. This is recommended to me by Robin of Bookspin, another YouTube channel. Check him out. So this is Light by M. John Harrison, winner of the Arthur C. Clarke Award. I can't remember what he said about this other than the fact that it's a jolly good book. Spine has a kind of raised edge there, like a vein underneath the surface, throbbing. Yeah, it's quite nice design there. I think this is time travel related as well, but I'm not entirely sure. Let's read the blurb and remind myself and you of what it's about. On the barren surface of an asteroid located deep in the galaxy, beneath the unbearable light of the Kefahuchi Tract, lie three objects: an abandoned spacecraft, a pair of bone dice covered with strange symbols, and a human skeleton. What they are and what they mean are the mysteries explored and unwrapped in Light, which marked M. John Harrison's triumphant return to science fiction. Never read anything by this chap. But yeah, I think this is time travel. I think. Yeah, I can't remember what Robin said about it now. Yeah, we had a long chat and we were recommending books to each other. I think there's a couple more that he's recommended as well. Okay, this is 2013. It's quite a modern edition, modern filth. But yes, it all seems tickety-boo. I got these from... the rest of these I got myself from eBay. Looks like we've got a bit more of the next book to read. Little sneak peek there. I've never understood those. I never bother reading those personally, but maybe you do. Let me know if you do. Have you read Light? Did you like it, or did you think it was shite? Let me know. Let's sniff it. Nice skull there. I do like a skull. Okay, right. So relatively modern. So we're dealing with fish and chip parchment. Lovely. But without the fishy undertones. Okay. Next. Ooh, we've got a lovely one here. So, Ubik by Philip K. Dick. Really glad that I got this particular copy with the beveled edges here. I've got, so who's this published by? Glance. Yeah, so they did a series cut in this manner. The other one I've got is Getaway, Frederick Pohl's one. Is it Frederick Pohl? I think so, yeah. But Ubik, I remember this being my favourite Dick, if you will. So I'm rereading some of the books that I think are my favourites, and then I'm going to hopefully compile my top 10 science fiction books. I've been meaning to do this for a very long time, but there we are. I love the fact that it's really simple. We've got this aerosol can, which features prominently in the book, but I can't remember why. Lovely. The spine's okay. It's slightly faded. And here we have the interesting blurb going across horizontally. Wonderful, but also slightly disturbing. So let's read this. Right, Glenn Runsiter is dead. At least someone died in that explosion on Luna, and it's Runsiter whose funeral is taking place in Des Moines. But if he's dead, why are his employees receiving puzzling and sometimes downright scatological messages from him? Sounds like me. And why is the world around them warping and changing in ways that suggest that it's their time that's running out? Maybe Glenn Runsiter isn't dead. Maybe it's everybody else. Whew, that sounds wonderful. Illustration by Mark Adams. Yes, very simple, but very effective. Okay, let's have a look when this one was published. Or this edition, shall we say. The original copyright is from 1969, 2006. Yeah, pretty good condition. I think I got it from World of Books, and it was quite reasonably priced. So reasonable, in fact, that I assumed that it would be one of those cases where they show you the cover, and then you get something entirely different. But actually got what I hoped I would get. I got this fella. I did scan this, so you can have a look at the cover in all its spare condition. Right, let's have a sniff. Oh, slightly different. Yeah. Wood. It's bloody wood. Of course, it's wood. I wonder what the cut-off is for books. You know, the age they have to reach before they stop smelling of wood and start smelling of less pleasant things. Okay, next. Right, this one was recommended by at least 2 people, but I can't remember either of them. One of them may have been Robin. Okay, The First 15 Lives of Harry August by Claire North. So this is another time travel one. Beautiful and gripping, The Guardian. Fantastic by Simon Mayo from his BBC Radio 2 programme, which no longer is on air. Okay, I don't know whether to take his advice or not, but I've heard this is good. The spine has been thrashed to within an inch of its life, but we don't mind that. Right, let's read it, because I don't know anything about this one either. The blurb, that is. No matter what he does or the decisions he makes, every time Harry dies, he always returns to where he began. A child with all the knowledge of a life lived a dozen times before. Wonderful. Nothing ever changes, until now. As Harry nears the end of his 11th life, a little girl appears at his bedside. I nearly missed you, Dr. August, she says. I need to send a message. This is the story of what Harry does next and what he did before, and how he tries to save a past he cannot change and a future he cannot allow. Mind-bending stuff, it would appear. Again, we've got a little excerpt of the next book that you might be able to read. Oh, there she is. Claire North. Right. I've never read anything by her, but I will definitely be reading this. 2014. Good Lord. I'm writing this for you, my enemy, my friend. You know already, you must know, you have lost. Goodness. Okay, look at this patterning on the spine, on the edge there. Can you see that? Looks like a chicken wire fence. I don't know what the hell that's about. But yes, nothing hidden amongst the pages. But yeah, check out that cover. I quite like that. The repetition, the kind of infinite mirror effect, although it only goes back 3 stages. See what you think. My God, there's loads of chapters. Quite short chapters. Look, chapter 81. Crikey. Oh. Yes. Yes. Yeah, fish and chip paper. Yep. Same old fare. Doesn't have the complexity of older books. There we are. Beggars cannot be choosers. Bastard candle's drowning in its own effluent. There we are. Okay, another time travel book coming up here. So this one is Replay by Ken Grimwood. Now this might have been recommended to me by Goatman, or Paul, perhaps, or Robin. I'm sorry, I don't know. But anyway, I've heard good things about this. What if you could live your life over and over again and again and again? So similar to the 15 Lives of Harry August, perhaps. So yeah, you just keep going over and over again. I think this is a theoretical thing that most people I think this kind of mind game is something that many of us have played around with. The idea of going back into the womb, perhaps, with the full knowledge of a life already lived. But there we are. There's appears to be a couple of novels based upon that very idea. Okay, right. Here we go. A time travel classic in the tradition of Jack Finney's Time and Again. I've been trying to get that book as well. Ken Grimwood's acclaimed novel, Replay, asks the provocative question, what if you could live your life over again knowing the mistakes you'd made before? 43-year-old Jeff Winston gets several chances to do just that. Trapped in tepid marriage and a dead-end job, he lives in 1988 and wakes up to find himself in 1963 at the age of 18, staring at his dorm room walls at Emory University. It's all the same, but different. Jeff knows what the future holds. He knows who will win every World Series, every Kentucky Derby, even how to win on Wall Street. The one thing he doesn't know is why has he been chosen to replay his life, and how many times must he win and lose everything he loves. Winner of the 1988 World Fantasy Award for Best Novel and published in 11 languages. Replay unravels, the answers in a masterful scheme that captivates our imagination. Sounds intriguing, very intriguing indeed. Now, I haven't read much time travel fiction, it must be said. 1998, this one, for my mother and father, lovely. I love the idea of time travel. One of my favourite films is Back to the Future, so there you go. But in terms of reading, I haven't done much. Time Machine, H.G. Wells, obviously. What's the other one? There's a short story by... was it The Sound of Thunder or something like that? A short story. It was in The Illustrated Man by... Can't fucking remember. You get my idea. You get the idea. I haven't read much. But anyway, there we are. God, I'm out of practice doing this. Apologies. Right. Cast Rise over that. Not a very inspiring cover, it must be said. I tried to get a better one, but it was more expensive, so I went with this one. But there we are. Ooh. Bloody hell. Bugger all. Nothing. Just a few molecules of printer paper, I would say. Very uninspiring. But the story itself sounds cracking. Absolutely cracking. Now, as moribund as that cover was, I've got here an absolute cracker. And we keep going up in size here. I can barely fit it in the frame. I'm going to have to get the camera up a bit. Up you go. So, Robert Silverberg, Up the Line. So, hardly read any Silverberg, just a couple of stories. A short story and, what was the other one? Book of Skulls. So this is another time travel one. The cover is wonderful. This cost me a bit more, but I just could not resist it. And it's based on, I believe, like a deep zoom of a Mandelbrot set. So a fractal, a very, very deep zoom whereby everything becomes circular. If any of you are interested in Mandelbrot zooms, by the way, there are lots of wonderful videos online where they're using absolutely hench computers to make these animations, seeing how far down they can go down this rabbit hole. This is a pretty good one here. I don't think it's a genuine representation of a Mandelbrot zoom, though. It looks slightly more stylized, not quite as complex, but there we are. I'm going a bit off piste here. Wonderful colors there. The spine has been shagged. We've just got the blues there, so the other pigments have perished. Okay, so again, I don't know anything about this, so let's read it. Okay, being a time courier was one of the best jobs Judson Daniel Elliott III ever had. It was tricky, though, taking group after group of tourists back to the same historic event without meeting yourself coming or going. Trickier still was avoiding the temptation to become intimately involved with the past and interfere with events to come. The deterrents for any such actions were frighteningly effective, so Judson Daniel Elliott played by the book. Then he met a lusty Greek in Byzantium who showed him how rules were made to be broken and set him on a family history go-round that would change his past and his future forever. Okay, that sounds like quite a romp. Okay, anyone read this? My goodness. Okay, so this is from 2002, and he's dedicated it to Anne McCaffrey, a friend indeed. I've only read one of her books and didn't like it at all, but I'm sure she's wonderful. A wonderful person. And by all accounts, and many people like her writing. I've only read one of her more recent ones, and it was one of her older ones. Yeah, it was absolutely dire. But there we are. Right, cast our eyes over that fake Mandelbrot set. And I wonder how they made it, this image. Who knows? And yeah, I'm going to sniff this. Hello, look, I didn't see that in the front. $2.99. I paid more than that. Typical. Oh. Tiny, tiny, tiny splinter of wood. But fuck all else. Okay, cracking back on. How's the camera performing today? Shambolic. Okay, right. We have got, you wouldn't believe this, another Robert Silverberg. Right. The Gate of Worlds. Now, I got this. I don't know anything about this except the cover image. This image here by John Harris. I've got one of his art books. I'm familiar with a fair dollop of his work. And I loved this image in the art book. And here it is, festooned across this cover. I wonder if he did it for this book specifically. I'm not sure. But yeah, quite nice. He's this well, he's a naked young man. But I assume it's a man. I don't know. There's quite nice firm buttocks there. Quite narrow, probably a man. Anyway, walking along this very narrow path that by all accounts has a very, very deep drop, so it could fall to his death at any moment. A rite of passage, perhaps, in some other world, some other reality. Okay. Don't know anything about it, though. Okay, an alternate world adventure from a master of science fiction. From Turkish-dominated Europe, across the high seas to the land of opportunity, the Aztec Empire. Dan Duchamp is a young Englishman whose heart longs for fortune and adventure, but industrial Mexico is a long way from primitive Britain, and Dan has a lot to learn. From the city of London, better known as New Istanbul, to the untamed wilderness of North America, here is a high adventure not to be missed. There you go. Cover art by John Harris. Hello! We found something! We've found something, my goodness. What's this? Dead insect there as well. Right, okay. Right, right, we've got the publication date here of 2005. Okay. And a dead insect, which I'm going to deposit on the floor where it belongs. But yes, we found something. What is it? Where is it? Where is it? Here it is. What does that say? What does that say? I don't know. Not yet finished. Not your something. It's written on a little post-it. Unite the Union. And there's a hair on there. Right, so I may have to do some DNA profiling from this hair and reconstitute the person involved. It looks like there's some fecal matter on there as well. So there we are, we've got that. I think that's probably a marker. That's how far they got. I mean, they got 2/3 through. Well, maybe even 3/4, and then they abandoned the book. I don't know if that's a good sign. But some people just don't have the staying power these days. There's more fecal matter in the front there. Someone has been using this to wipe their bottom. Anyway, yeah, check out that cover. Wonderful cover. And I'm going to sniff this. Hopefully not get any illness from it. It's got depth to it, that one. It's church pew. I mean, for 2005, that's quite remarkable. Normally, that's in the 1970s, you would get the church pew, but there we are. Not to be confused with church pube, of course. Okay, last but not least, we've got the largest format book of the lot. So I didn't know it was going to be this bloody big. Look at the size of this fuck. I'm going to have to put the camera up even further now. Look at it. You barely get it in there. But it's so it's a compilation of short stories from Arthur C. Clarke. So some bastard bought this for 85 pence. I can tell you right now, I didn't pay that. Slightly more. But it's deceiving, isn't it? I never look at the details as to how big the actual format print is. I assumed it would be a trade paperback, but no, it's a fucking giant thing that I don't know where I'm going to sling the devil. But at the same time, it gives us a wonderful view of this image. Isn't this bloody lovely? I think this has perhaps had a bit of computer rendering done with these buildings, perhaps. It looks slightly computer generated. I don't know. I might be barking up the wrong tree there. But anyway, some bastard got it for 85 pence. The spine is wonderful. It's nice. Nicely, I mean, you could, I don't know, you could build with it, perhaps, use it as a ruler. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm not going to read all this. It's just bigging up the good old Arthur C. Clarke. He doesn't need bigging up, excuse me, but it's a collection of his short stories. Okay, the Sentinel, that inspired 2001. I haven't read that, the short story, but of course I've read the series of books, 2001 and etc., all the way up to 3001. Guardian Angel, that gave birth to Childhood's End, which was an excellent novel. The Songs of Distant Earth, haunting story of first contact with an alien world. Never, I've heard of that. I don't think I've read it. And it's also illustrated by Lebbeus Woods. Yes, I had a little thumb through earlier. I didn't even know this was an illustrated edition, but they're quite nice images. Look at that, very detailed. And the stippling here, I think it's been done with graphite, perhaps. It looks like graphite. Wonderful. Yeah, I like it. I really do like it. Let's have a look at a few more. Yeah, so they're all in black and white, but you can tell they're kind of pencil drawings or Conte crayon or something like that. Oh, that's nice. Got a little bit of MC Escher about the face there, I would say. But look at that, and that's a bit more I don't know, like punky, isn't it? Anime even, like manga style. Oh, look at him. Wonderful. Nice use of perspective there. I would never be able to draw that. Wonderful. Yes, and another astronaut standing on a precipice there. I'll go through all of them because I think they're quite nice. Again, we've got something there. Just a load of like girders and whatnot, but we've got a face here in the background. I'm going to enjoy reading these and looking at the images. Look at that. Horrible creature. But probably quite pleasant. Okay, more structural, a bit of architecture there. Yeah, and it's like a city being destroyed, but also reminiscent of Van Gogh, perhaps. Starry Night, and all of this nonsense going on. Yeah, interesting. Okay. Anybody read any of those? Published Panther Books 1985. That's from 85. Wow. It's in pretty good condition. So what I said about this being computer generated is completely off the mark. This is someone that really good. Just good. Cover illustration by Chris Foss. Now, I almost said this is Foss, and then I thought, it can't be. This is computer generated. Can't believe it. I've been duped. It was Foss all along. Foss always gets you when you're not ready. Anyway, check out the cover. Try not to cream over it too much because it's fucking amazing. And I'll sniff this. Ooh, bloody hell, I've just been hit. Almost a fatal blow to my olfactory senses. Oh, it's something new. It's I know what it is. It's tarmac. On a really hot day, a tarmac pavement. Sometimes you get tarmac that are on the road, and it gets very hot, and it starts to almost melt. You get a smell. Or am I thinking of petrichor? Maybe it's a bit of petrichor, slightly. Who knows? But it's a new smell. Just don't know what it is. Right, I won't get out the big old Foss book I've got because it won't fit here. I'm going to have to do some kind of, going to have to perform a spell or something and put the camera somewhere else. But that will be a delight to come your way another day. But anyway, thanks for joining me once more. We're back doing book stuff. So yeah, thanks for dipping in if you have on the other stuff. But yeah, we're back on firmer territory now. Hope you're all well. Have you read any of these books? Are there any of them that I should tackle first? Are there any that you want me to burn upon the satanic, I mean demonic candle at a later date? Do let me know. Anyway, thanks for watching and cheerio. Good Lord.